What is up, sports geeks? It's your host Josh Keeney here, back with another episode. Today, I'm joined by my college basketball guru Nick. How you doing, man?
Doing great. Now we're finally at the start of conference championship week. We're only a week away.
We're in the best 2 weeks of my life right now.
Oh, it is the greatest 2 week stretch I'd say at any tournament possible.
Yes. So today we're talking about Big 12. I'm sure I'll slip in my daily dose of the Spartans. But we are talking about the Big 12, talking about the Big 12 season, and then specifically targeting in on the tournament that just came out yesterday, I believe, the official bracket for the Big 12 tournament. And this one's going to be interesting. I know we talked, a week ago, kind of just to spark this off. We talked about a week ago about Kansas's struggles guarding the big men, specifically Texas Tech, right? When they play them. And Texas Tech has given Kansas fits this year. And Texas Tech plays West Virginia as a 9-8 seed.
That's going to be a great game.
And they play the winner of that game gets to play Kansas. Kansas could be looking at a really difficult road here.
Oh, no, 100%. They could be looking at a first round exit for them. Thursday, that March game, they're going to be the 4 o'clock game. So they're going to be one of the first games of the day. They could easily come out flat. You never know. You never know what they're going to get, especially if Texas Tech wins that game. If they have to play Texas Tech again with O'Banner and Fardons, that's a big man duo that it's going to be hard for them to guard.
Yeah. I think something big in these tournaments too is that you have fatigue that sets in, but not on the second day. On the second day, you're just warmed up. Mm-hmm. Now, if Texas Tech were to beat West Virginia, beat Kansas, and then go play Baylor or Iowa State, now fatigue's starting to set in. You win that game, you have to go play Texas or TCU or Kansas. Now you're really fatigued. But in your second game, Kansas, they're not going to have played for a week.
Yeah, I think it's going to be really scary because Texas Tech or West Virginia, they're going to have another game under their belt. They're going to be ready to go.
Yeah, I think we could be in for an upset there. Now, looking at the other kind of play-in game for this, Oklahoma State against Oklahoma, a little bit of a rivalry game.
Oklahoma River Showdown.
Yeah, I don't think this really scares Oklahoma State. I don't think this game matters because I think Texas comfortably beats whoever they win.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that. Obviously Oklahoma, they're not looking at postseason. Oklahoma State's maybe looking at an at-large bid if they get 2 wins here, but they're mostly going to be an NIT team. Mm-hmm. So, they're still playing for postseason, but they don't have the dogs to fight with Texas. And Texas showed it on Saturday that they very well could have been the number one team.
Yes.
What they did to Kansas on Saturday,
yes,
absolutely just destroyed them. It was never close.
No, it wasn't. I do think we're seeing some struggles out of Kansas right now. It seems to be that they've peaked at the wrong time, and they're not peaking right now. Texas, like we just mentioned, is really peaking right now.
They're soaring right now to the top. And a thing I want to talk about with Kansas is the fact that, they have the player of the year in Jalen Wilson and obviously the assist leader in Dwan Harris, but Grady Dick over his past 4 games or 3 games has 13 points.
He didn't even shoot on Saturday. He was 2 for 5.
He wasn't looking to shoot at all. You could tell something's not right with him. He looks like he's playing scared.
Yeah. Now, I will say this. If you would have told me coming into the Kansas-Texas game, or if I would have told you, we'll flip these roles. If I would have told you that Marcus Carr is going to give you 6 points on 29% from the floor, what would you expect what would you set the line at? Who would you expect to win that game?
I definitely would have said the Kansas would have won by 10.
Yeah.
There's just no doubt to it.
And so your best player, who was, if you remove Jalen Wilson, maybe the favorite for Big 12 Player of the Year.
Yeah.
Just gave you a terrible performance, and you won by 16.
Still won easily.
Now, it's at home. I understand that's a difficult environment to play in, but this is dangerous for a team like Kansas if you're really struggling at this wrong time, and your matchup in the Big 12 bracket has potential to be terrible. Now, if West Virginia wins, I don't think this is really West Virginia is kind of like the pressing style, the press Virginia, obviously. Yeah. Bob Huggins loves to run up and down, which plays right into Dwan Harris, Jalen Wilson, Grady Dick's hands.
Quick tempo.
Yeah.
Exactly what Kansas wants to do.
Exactly. But I don't think that Kansas is going to have an easy coast if Texas Tech wins this game. I'm rooting for I know as you support Kansas, so I'm rooting for Texas Tech because I like to see upsets.
Yeah, I think that'd be a great game.
It would be a great game.
And then if Kansas is able to win that game, and I'm going to be honest with you, I'm pretty sure Baylor is going to easily walk all over Iowa State, even though Iowa State just beat them. I don't know. Something was weird about that game. I don't know. It was kind of almost like Baylor didn't care. It's like they didn't care. It was their senior day. They didn't really care to be there.
I think it's also a revenge spot.
They're overlooking things, blah, 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 all that. But I think Baylor can easily beat Iowa State in that 4-5 game.
I'm going to be honest. I think that this Final Four of the semis here are TCU over Kansas State,
I like that one.
I think Texas gets in comfortably.
Yeah.
So I think we see a Texas TCU, which is going to be a wonderful matchup.
Yeah.
And then
It's a minor game right there.
And then I think we see Baylor or Kansas / Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a sleeper, dude. Like when you have nothing to lose and you know you're playing a team in again, I'm assuming they beat West Virginia, right?
Yeah.
You're playing a team in Kansas that's really struggled with you. Just a reminder, Kansas. So they played twice this year at Texas Tech. It was a 3-point win for Kansas. At home, it was a 4-point win. So
both Texas by combined 7 points.
And I know we talk about all the time, like in NFL, when you see like an interdivisional opponent in the playoffs, how hard it is to beat somebody three times in 1 year. Like it is extremely difficult. Now the Eagles didn't make it look that difficult when they played the Giants this year.
Yeah.
But like this is going to be a tough game for Kansas, and it should not be overlooked at all. It should definitely be circled on your calendars. 4 p.m. Now, if West Virginia wins again, I don't think it's close.
The only thing that I'm kind of worried about, though, is obviously, Texas Tech, their head coach has been in the news as of late the past couple of days. He had some really, really poor remarks, and I personally think that might be a problem for this Texas Tech team. He was a good leader until he decided he had to go overboard with what he was saying and all this and all that. So I don't know how a Texas Tech team is going to be able to get up when they don't have their head coach.
Yeah, it definitely adds another element to it. But also, from Kansas's perspective, could just be, more just gas on the fire, right? Look, everything's going wrong. Nobody expects us to win this game. Let's go win it. Yeah. Or, but it could go both ways, I think. And it's going to be interesting to see. I think we're going to see if it really hurts this team, they're going to lose to West Virginia.
Yeah. And I mean, that would be a humongous win, honestly, for West Virginia if they get through Texas Tech and can get through Kansas, because I would say that honestly keeps them in the tournament comfortably. I think that keeps them in comfortably, probably at a 10, 8 or 9.
Yes,
probably 8 or 9.
I would agree with that. I think that Texas Tech and the only two teams really fighting for their tournament lives here are Texas Tech and Oklahoma State. Yeah. I don't think West Virginia can get in because I don't think they can beat Kansas.
Yeah.
So you can beat Texas Tech. You're still not in if you beat Texas Tech. You might be.
I mean, I don't know. The thing with West Virginia is so their record. They're 18-10 or something like that.
Yeah,
so right around there. They just obviously got a big win at home against Kansas State, so that helps. I don't know. I think if they can somehow beat Kansas, I right now I think they're in. I think they are in, but it's they're right on that area, that bubble, obviously, where it's you could have one mess up. Like if they don't beat Texas Tech, I don't think they're in. If they beat Texas Tech, I think they'll probably end. It just really depends on where they're going to be seated. I think it could be anywhere from an 8 to a 10.
Yeah, I do think something else to monitor too, which is something that we see. It's just crazy, right? When we have all these conference tournaments, is that if you have a conference like I'm trying to think of, like if you have a conference like the AAC, we'll use them as an example, right? So Memphis and Houston are getting in.
Yeah.
If somebody other than those two were to win this conference,
stealing bids,
then it's stealing bids from somebody that could from a team that could be like
that.
So if you were to see somebody like I'm trying to think of a small conference, who's
for example,
FAU's conference. If FAU doesn't lose, or doesn't win their conference, they're getting in either way.
Yeah,
but
they have 3 losses.
But they're not getting. Nobody else from that conference is getting in if FAU wins.
Yeah.
So that could be something to monitor. That if you get those big upsets, we could 100% be seeing some teams like West Virginia not be making the tournament because they have
that sole reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I do think it's going to be interesting though. How do you think that Kansas State TCU games goes though?
Obviously, I don't know. I think it's a very interesting game because both teams do like to run, but both teams at the same time are very defensive oriented.
Mm-hmm.
Especially a team like TCU, they are so hard on the defensive end. They will turn you over. Mike Miles will get out and run, but then they also
he's healthy. He's healthy now too.
He's completely healthy, and they also have the other end of it where they can slow you down and they can play, 1-on-1 with Mike Miles or dump it down to Eddie Lampkin and he can just go to work in the paint.
Yeah, I think TCU is to have them as a 6 seed in your conference tournament. I'm gonna pull up their how they've done against some of these better teams, and that probably won't even tell the tale because they haven't been healthy really. Yeah, so when you're playing without your best guys, that's a big difference when these guys have lost to Oklahoma. That was bad the other day.
That was a bad one the other day.
But they went to a pretty rough stretch here, I think. I'm trying to find. Yeah, here it is.
Yeah.
So they lose at Mississippi State. win at home against West Virginia, and then they lose at Oklahoma State, at Kansas State, home against Baylor, at Iowa State, and then they finally get a win against Oklahoma State. But I don't. It's dangerous is when you have these guys that are not.
Yeah, you haven't seen them all year, a complete healthy team, and they got healthy at the right time, and that's going to take them right into the tournament. They're going to be healthy, and I agree with you. I think they do beat Kansas State, and I think they give Texas a really good game and can possibly beat them there to get themselves to the championship.
Yeah,
Saturday.
I will say it might be the Keontae Johnson versus McMiles show.
Yeah, no, 100%. There's no doubt about it. Keontae Johnson, man, he bully balls you. He's so big. I always like to say he's like, he could be playing outside linebacker or safety in the NFL for how big he is.
Yeah.
He's huge. And he'll just bully ball you, get you down low, get you right on his hip, and he's either going up and drawing a foul or he's hitting a fadeaway jumper in your face.
Yeah.
It's just the way he plays.
He's like a polished Flo Thamba.
Yeah.
Like Flo Thamba's built like a linebacker,
Yeah.
or a D tackle almost even. But like, Keontae Johnson is that, but polished.
Yeah.
And it's dangerous.
It's crazy.
It's almost like an off-brand Luka Garza. I don't want to go as far as saying that he's Luka Garza.
Yeah.
Because I think he's a lot more dynamic, but also like not near the post scorer. But when you talk about like just pure like size and ability to just like create a shot in the post when he needs to.
Yeah. It's like no other, considering he really is only like a 3-guard.
Yeah. Like which means he gets a lot of mismatches.
Yeah.
Like
a lot.
Like there are not very many 3 guards that can guard somebody of his pure like just weight, size and weight.
We'll just back you down.
Yeah. This is going to be a good tournament though. I think like some of these first round matchups that we're going to get are going to be dangerous. I'm looking at the bracket again. Like Baylor, Iowa State, I actually think Baylor might run away with it. As I run away with it as in like 10-point game. For a conference tournament, I would say that's running away with it. Kansas, Texas Tech, if we do get that matchup, could be great. Texas, Oklahoma, or Oklahoma State, I don't think is great. But I'm going to say TCU comes away over Kansas State here. And then I'm going to say TCU against Texas is going to be a wonderful matchup.
Yeah, I think that's going to be probably the best game out of the whole tournament, besides Baylor and Kansas if you get it. But no, I think Kansas with their guard play with obviously Carr and Sir'Jabari Rice, who comes off the bench, and people forget he averages 18 points a game off the bench.
Yeah.
He had.
It's got to be like top. It has to lead the nation for off the bench, right?
It has to be. He won 6th man of the year. I mean, obviously there's nothing else to it.
Yeah.
But like, he took over that game on Saturday. I don't know if you watched it. He took over that game.
Well, we talked about Marcus Carr couldn't score.
I'm pretty sure Sir'Jabari Rice scored the last 8 points of the game.
Did he really?
Like he took it over. He owned the game. It was his senior day. He's like, you know what, we're getting this one. He took it over, drilled a few threes, hit a fadeaway, had a dunk. Like he owned the game. And I feel like Texas's guard play is that good. If they keep going with that, they're going to be hard to beat. You're going to need Timmy Allen and Christian Bishop to obviously play well. Put up their regular numbers of like 12-6 or 12-8.
Yeah.
If they can do that, they are probably the most complete and polished team in the Big 12, I think, in my opinion.
Yes.
They don't have the holes like Kansas does.
I agree, and they're also peaking at the right time. Like this team is like getting to the point right now where looking at their last games, they lose at TCU by 2, right? In a battle. And you lose at Baylor by 9, right? But you look at some of these games that they've won, you win against Iowa State by 18.
Yeah.
Right? Like you beat Kansas by 16. You're getting to a point where you're like dominating some teams here towards the end of your season.
Yeah, I mean, you just dominated a team that most people see as the #1 overall seed in the tournament besides Houston.
Yes.
You dominated them. It doesn't matter where it was played, because if you're the #1 team, you should be able to come in and at least, hold your water, at least try to steady the ship, and they just couldn't do it.
It was a really rough weekend for #1 overall seeds. Like expected the 1 seeds. You had Houston who wins off a buzzer.
It wasn't even a 1 either. It was a push off.
Yeah.
Push off. Push off.
Yes, it was. So Houston shouldn't have won. Well, maybe it goes to OT, and then they probably do.
They most likely get the win. Yeah. They almost lost. Purdue almost chokes a 20-point lead to Illinois. They're up by 21 at half and almost lose. It wasn't even close.
Almost lose the game. And then you have obviously Kansas, who gets blown out of the water by Texas. Like it was a rough weekend for these. Yeah, and Alabama
losing to A&M.
Yeah, I know you tweeted about the transition 3.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Transition 3. I don't. It was against Auburn earlier in the week. It
Yeah.
made no sense. They were up two with like a minute or
I think a minute and a
so.
half or something like that. Yeah.
All they had to do was run an offense,
And they have
that's
a
it.
good
Just get
offense
a
too.
score.
Like,
Get a bucket out of your best player, Brandon Miller. Find Spears for a three, but no, Spears decides he's going to come in transition, and he just chucks up a deep three and wasn't even close.
No.
It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. They luckily obviously got the win in double OT or OT. They got the win in OT,
yeah.
but still, it's just like
Right. So they're not really peaking right now either. Now,
No,
obviously, they have a lot on their plate.
they're going downhill. Obviously, yeah, they got a lot of
Nate Oates has a lot to deal with right now.
They have a lot going on, but I do agree that they're not trending in the right direction right now. And I think teams were at the beginning of the year were scared to play Bama. You're getting to the point where they're not scared anymore.
No.
They're like, look, we can give you our best bet because you know what? You guys rely on the 3-point, and if you keep trying to shoot it and you're not going to make it like they did this week against Auburn and A&M, anybody's in the game.
Yeah, absolutely. When they don't shoot at an elite clip. I think it was last year's team. They were an elite. They shot at an elite clip. They fired them up like they're like no other, but they shot at an elite clip.
Yeah.
This year they really don't, and I think it's going to be dangerous for them because you don't get slip ups in tournament. You have one bad game. Brandon Miller has one bad game from the floor.
Sure.
That team is like one dimensional without him because I think he provides a little bit of attacking to the rim.
Yeah. No, I mean, you look at him, he's 6'7", 6'8". Dude's versatile. He can play down low and he can also play outside. Like it's amazing how much he can do for a team. You can put him, he can guard 1 to 5.
Yeah. Now, I know we're not talking about the SEC, but that Alabama, I believe it was Arkansas game. No, it was the Alabama South Carolina game. I remember texting you. They had a string of like 4 dunks in that game that were like dunk contest type dunks.
Dunk worthy.
Yeah. Like all of them are top 10 on Sports Center on a bad day.
Yeah.
Like they were all 4 because I remember I texted you about it, like, dude, this is literally a dunk contest right now because it was 4 within like 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, no, it was every bucket you would see was just a dunk.
Yeah, and like a poster dunk, not like a rim grazer. Yeah, and that was the first game Brandon Miller had back from the whole shooting incident. That was like
stuff that went down
24 hours after it came out, and then he drops 43.
Like it was nothing either. It was probably the easiest 43 I've seen anyone.
Yeah,
the last few buckets he made, but
yeah, no, he's elite, but they're going to be in danger in the tournament. I don't see them making it past like the Sweet 16 because I don't think they can string together 4 or 5 games of shooting well from 3.
Yeah, I mean, that's hard to do, and I think it almost relates back to last year's tournament with Baylor at the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
It's really easy to be the 1 seed and think, we don't have really many games we got to worry about till we get to the Sweet 16. But no, you run into a team that gets hot, like said North Carolina was last year.
Yeah,
obviously not making the tournament this year because they're pretty bad, to be honest with you. But
that might be one of the biggest letdowns like ever.
Oh, 100%. Like they're so overrated. But I mean, obviously we'll have fun in the NIT this year. So, but like Baylor last year, they relied a lot on Cryer and all of them hitting threes.
Yeah.
They relied on it too heavy, and then they got into a team that was fundamentally sound and was also playing really well at the same time in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Bama could see the same thing if they get an 8-9 game. You never know.
I know. We've been talking about peaking at the right time, right? Last year, we saw it exactly in North Carolina. Yeah. North Carolina was a mid team the entire year until February. February hit, they kind of dialed it in. The ACC tournament hit, they dialed it in, and March Madness hit, and they dialed it in, and they were phenomenal.
Yeah.
Because they peaked at the right time. And we're starting to see that out of teams like Texas, and we might not see it out of teams like Purdue, teams like Kansas, who really aren't peaking at the right time.
They're doing whatever they can to get by at this time.
Yeah.
They're just skating past. They're getting the wins they need to get, but they're not doing it how they should.
It's not convincing.
No, not one bit.
Yeah. So I agreed. Now, so looking at this Big 12 bracket here, if you were to choose, kind of a sleeper pick to win it, and then also who you legitimately think is going to win it, who would you go with here?
Okay, so for the sleeper, I would have to say, I guess you could say TCU is a sleeper in a way. I would say them or even West Virginia, because West Virginia's been playing really good basketball with Eric Stevenson. He's been averaging, I want to say, touch over 16 in the past 4 or so games. They hound you on the defense end. They're a defensive-minded team. Bobby Huggins on press Virginia. They will press, and they will get up in your drill and play defense. And we saw it this past Saturday when they played Kansas State. Kansas State went up in this game, I believe 28-18 in the first half.
Mhm.
And at that point, a lot of people were thinking, well, Kansas State's running away with it. Like that's a good road win against West Virginia.
Right.
Wrong. I think West Virginia went on a run and ended up going up like 16 points at one point in the second half and ended up walking away with the game.
If you were a guard, West Virginia might be the last team I want to play.
Yeah.
Other than like maybe like a Northwestern, where you have like Boo Buie and Chase Audige, or I'm trying to think of maybe somebody else, but like West Virginia makes you like hate your life as a guard because everything that's typically simple, right? Let's go up, let's get into our offense. That's not easy.
Yeah,
Let's go up, let's enter the ball to the wing. That's not easy. Let me like throw a post entry. That's not easy because there's so much damn ball pressure. There's so much like just chaos going on that West Virginia just like basically like assaults you defensively.
Oh,
it is terrible.
They won't let you breathe on the offensive end. It's absurd. That's what they do. They average. I mean, I know they, as a team, I saw they over the past couple of games, they've averaged 10 turnovers themselves, but they're also turning over their opponent 12 to 14 times each game.
Yeah. And that's really dangerous because forcing turnovers you're pretty consistent at.
Yeah.
But like you can have a good game of turning the ball over. Like
you can still have 10 turnovers yourself and still win a basketball game because you're turning the other team over.
Right, but like, and you can limit your turnovers, but you're always going to speed the other team up typically if you're that good at it. And if West Virginia were to have a game that they could keep their turnovers to like a 6 to 10 range, like that team, like you have to think of how many possessions they're positive there, right? Because you're going to turn them over 12 to 14 times typically, 10, maybe like 11 to 13.
Yeah.
So we'll say 12 times in a game. You're going to turn them over 12 times. If you can turn over 6 times, dude, you're looking at another 12 to 15 possible points off of shots that you're getting that they're not. That's the outcome of a game.
Exactly.
I mean,
it could be the outcome of the game because you know what? You could, instead of being up at the end of the game, only have 2.
Yeah.
You're not going to be up 8.
Yeah. Yeah. Because you look at like, you shoot 50% on those shots there. And you're looking at 6 to 8 points just off of turnovers. And
aspect of the game.
And I do think that's probably doesn't even do it justice for West Virginia because they have so many on-ball turnovers forced, or live ball turnovers forced. Like if you think of like a travel, that's like a non-live ball because you
were in charge.
Yeah, non-live ball. How many times do they just get a steal?
Oh,
Run a passing lane, pick somebody's pocket, and now it's not like you're shooting a 50% shot. You're shooting a 95% shot because it's a dunk or an alley-oop. So West Virginia is not a team I would want to play, and I think they could give some teams some fits come tournament time, but it would have to be the right matchup because.
No, yeah, I definitely agree with that. It has to be the right matchup because if I have a feeling if they were to get in or are going to be in, it would be in an 8-9. It would be in an 8-9 game, and there's really not. Out of those 1 seeds, I don't see a team they match up well with besides Purdue.
I was just going to say
just the sole fact that they can turn Purdue's guards over because they're freshmen, unexperienced, and it's really not that hard to guard Zach Edey anymore.
No,
because every team has learned all you got to do is once he gets the ball in the post, you double down, and then he honestly doesn't really know what to do with it anymore.
What we saw, it was extremely bad against Illinois.
Yeah,
his decision making when he gets double triple teamed is horrendous.
Yeah.
And we saw he tries to put the ball on the floor, he tries to force passes, and what we saw him, I think, Coleman Hawkins did phenomenal at it. Is when he would double so he was the one guarding Edey.
Yeah.
You'd get him outside of the restricted area essentially. As soon as the double comes, Hawkins would basically back off and play basically help side for the guy that's doubling.
Yeah.
So he's still semi contesting the shot and also playing the passing lane because the dude's obviously cutting, right?
Yeah.
And so they really struggled with that, and that's why Illinois was able to get back in that game so easily because Edey was just pathetic offensively. I don't know what his turnovers numbers were. I'm gonna pull it up real quick, but it was not good. I can know that.
Yeah, no, basically, with Edey, I agree. Whenever they double down, it's almost like at the beginning of the year, he was perfectly fine with keeping calm and being able to find the open guy to at least get a runner or an open shot. But now he's either turning the ball over really, really bad because he gets sped up, or he finds somebody for an open shot, but they can't make it.
No, he had 2 turnovers, 3 fouls, and was shot under 50% from the floor, which for him is
that's not
good at all. This team relies on him to shoot 60 plus from the floor.
Yeah, no, if he doesn't put up a double-double, if he doesn't put up at least 18 and I'd say 12, Purdue is not going to win. Or if they do, it's going to be a very close game.
Yes. Like you got 19 out of Brandon Newman.
And that does not usually
That will not happen again this year.
No,
I promise you that.
Happen.
Like 19 out of Brandon Newman, and you still have some decent game. Like Fletcher.
Yeah.
I was getting mixed up with his brother because
went to Michigan State.
Yep.
Davidson.
Yep. But Fletcher Lawyer 0 for 4 from the floor. Braden Smith had a good game. He gave you 15 on 67% from the floor. But like that's pretty like abnormal.
Yeah,
for him to shoot. I mean, so you got to think a lot of things went right to beat Illinois at home.
Especially considering you're up by 20.
Yeah.
That helps a lot too.
A lot of things had to go right for you to beat Illinois at home. And Illinois is not great. They're good.
Like they'll be a tournament team, most likely. But no, I agree. They're not the Illinois teams they used to be in the past.
No, and they're not like the caliber of team that I would expect like a Purdue to face in like the Elite Eight. Like if Purdue's going to make the Final Four, you're going to have to face somebody that is significantly better than Illinois. And the way Purdue's playing right now, they're going to struggle, dude.
Yeah, I don't think we talked about it a few weeks ago. Like if teams to make that run, I think you can put them in the same category as Kansas as the team that might not get past the Sweet 16.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, especially because with Kansas, we talk about the lack of big guy, right? Purdue has the exact thing, but for guards.
Guards, yeah.
And that's even more dangerous in the big in.
Because you can skate by not having a true big man, but every analyst for college always says it, and you know what I'm going to say.
I do.
You don't have good guard play, you're not going anywhere in the tournament. You won't. There's no way you can do it. You won't go anywhere.
Look at the best teams that we've seen the last couple of years, right? In March Madness.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, the Gonzaga team that then played Gonzaga Baylor. We'll just talk about that matchup, right? Jalen Suggs, Nemhard, and Kispert. You go to the Baylor team. I think they had decent guards too. That Baylor team, by the way.
They had Mintz or Davion Mitchell.
They had Dave, who was. I rooted for Baylor so much that year because Davion Mitchell was one of my favorite players to watch. He was so fast. He was like the De'Aaron Fox of college basketball. And he hasn't mounted up that much in the NBA yet. Obviously, he's still young. Yeah. But he's so fast. I would expect that he would. But Davion Mitchell. You have Flagler, and you had there was another one.
Cryer was still there. I don't know if he was there or not.
I don't think Cryer was there. They had another one that was.
Cryer was the year after.
This is gonna kill me, dude. That I don't know his name. This is frustrating right now because they had another elite guard. What was that? What year was that? 2021.
Yes. Or
Baylor 2021 basketball. Yeah. Jared Butler.
Yes.
Dude, that was annoying because his shot form was actually pretty ugly.
Oh yeah,
but he was water.
They had the local kid too from Walnut, I believe. He transferred in from UNC Asheville.
Oh, who's that? Not Macio Teague.
Yeah, Macio Teague. He was a local guy. He transferred in. He started out at UNC Asheville. He transferred into Baylor. He was a pretty good guard too. That was another guy who had a really weird looking shot.
Cryer was there, by the way.
He was? Okay, I wasn't sure if he played.
I don't think
I thought he was on the team.
Dude, so I mean, and then you look at last year. We'll talk about UNC. UNC has RJ Davis and Caleb Love,
who at the time was playing good basketball.
Yes. Love. Yeah, they've fallen off this year, but last year they were playing great basketball. Like, you need to have elite guard play if you want to actually have a chance to win. Kansas last year had great guards as well.
Yeah, I mean, Ochai Agbaji, you still had DeJuan Harris.
Yeah.
You had Jalen Wilson, who can dribble the ball if he needs to.
Yes, and for somebody that's like the third ball handler on the court, a very good third ball handler.
And Christian Braun, too, he was a very athletic guy.
Yes. You have to have elite guard play, and Purdue just simply doesn't. We've been off on a tangent here.
Yeah. I mean,
not talking about the Big 12 at all.
A lot. But, so if you had to pick, we'll get back onto the track for my NFC and my two sleeper teams. I have my one team I think is going to win it all. I'm going to stick with Kansas. I really am. I don't want to do it. I kind of want to take Texas, but I already have my sleeper pick and TCU on the same side as them.
Yep.
So I'll take the team I think to win all things to be Kansas. I think they'll get right. They had the week of practice, They'll get right back to it. Jalen Wilson, he played really well last game. He went back to his former self where he was putting up 19 and 10 a game.
Yeah.
And showed why he was the Big 12 player of the year. I think Grady Dick will figure it out. We'll start hitting those open shots again, and I think they'll get it done. Who do you think for your sleeper in here?
Yeah, real quick. I think Grady Dick has to look for a shot more because I know you said like he'll hit open shots, and he just needs to stop only shooting. He needs to come into the game with I'm going to get 10 to 12 shots up because I have to.
Yeah.
Because you can't have somebody that's as gifted as him offensively that's putting up 5 shots in a game. That you're not going to win. Like obviously if Wilson's going off and DeJuan Harris is playing well, then like you might not be shooting, but like you have to be shooting 10 to 12 times a game for you to be successful. Like I don't know why. Like he was 2 for 5 from the floor, 2 for 5 from 3. Yeah. Didn't shoot a 2-pointer the entire time.
Yeah, you can't be scared to take a shot.
No,
especially when you have that good of a shot. Like
yes,
his shot is fantastic, and he at points gets scared and he doesn't want to take the shots, but he needs to.
Yes, he does. So for you said you wanted to go with Texas, but you didn't.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Texas. I think they're peaking at the right time. I know we talked about it a lot. Marcus Carr, and they're in company. They're good. They are good, and they're peaking at the right time. I don't think they have the hole. I do think, like what you said earlier, that they're the best all-around team in the Big Ten, most complete team, or Big 12.
Yeah.
Most complete team in the Big 12. I would agree with that. I'm going to go Texas. I wanted to go TCU as my sleeper pick, but again, it's same side. So I'm going to go to the other side. I know you went with somebody in one of those first 2 games with West Virginia. Mm-hmm. I'm going to stay with somebody in those first 2 games, but I'm going to go to their opponent there. I'm going to go Texas Tech. So one of our sleeper teams is going to lose right away. Obviously this is a sleeper team. I'm not like actually expecting them to win at all, but it's a team that if things go right, their matchups are pretty good. Like they can get to the semifinals with like good matchups. Yeah. I mean, we've seen it. They are a 1-possession team against Kansas. I
definitely agree. They've obviously been in both games with Kansas, and that's not a bad pick at all by Texas Tech. I think it'll be a good game. It's just whoever they have coming in to be their coach, can he coach at this level?
Yes.
That's the real question. I don't know if their coach can come in and coach because I don't even know who the interim's going to be.
No.
They already said Mark Adams, he's suspended. They're not bringing him back the rest of this year.
Right, which is smart.
Yeah, I mean, who's going to be the coach? Because like Rodney Terry, obviously, for example, with Texas, people didn't think he was going to be able to do it. He stepped right in. Now there's a chance he gets the job full time.
Yeah, he should. I think
he's done a great job.
Yeah. I'll tell you what, this is going to be a really good tournament, though. I know we're going to have a couple more, probably just one more episode coming out on Wednesday. This will be posted Monday here. On Wednesday, we're going to have one that pretty much talks about Big Ten, which will have a good amount of talk on Big Ten.
Yeah. It's going to be very interesting.
The Pac-12 we're going to run through because it's super quick. I mean, it's
really down to 2 teams.
It's UCLA and Arizona, and maybe USC can upset somebody if Peterson and Ellis shoot lights out.
Yeah, it depends how they play.
But like they have to shoot lights out, and they could shoot lights out and still lose.
Yeah, exactly.
So USC is not that good, which sucks because Boogie Ellis is fun to watch. Like,
it's really a shame that he went there. His talent's getting wasted there.
Yeah,
it really is.
I don't know what the recruiting class looks like for next year. I also don't know if he's gonna be gone. Is he? Have you heard anything about that or no?
I don't think he's going to leave. I don't see why he would. I mean, obviously they have one of the best point guards in the country coming in, Isaiah Collier.
Yeah.
Because it was down to UC and USC. And then they also are bringing his buddy who's a top 30 player in the country. He's a forward.
Okay.
Arrington Page. So they're bringing in good guys. Like they're bringing in good pieces.
So everything says Boogie Ellis, you should stay.
I would think he would stay, especially considering he'll probably get some really good NIL money to stay.
That's gonna be a dangerous backcourt.
Yeah.
When you have Boogie Ellis and Isaiah Collier as your backcourt.
It's gonna make a long day for a lot of those Pac-12 teams. I'll tell you that.
Big Ten teams, right? Are they in the Big Ten? No.
Next year is the year after.
I think it's the year after.
That's another crazy thing too. All the conference alignment. The Pac-12 is like about to just disband.
Oh, Pac-12. I mean, they're
almost screwed. They haven't signed a media deal with anybody. They don't know what to do.
Listen to 3 teams we just talked about in the Pac-12 that are even remotely decent, right? 2 of them are going to the Big Ten.
And then Arizona is about to get poached by the Big 12.
Yeah. And if the Arizona doesn't, they're going to be like the Gonzaga of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
Like the Pac-12 will be like pretty much that level. It's going to be pathetic. But so Pac-12 we're going to fly through.
Yeah, that'll be a quick one. Same thing with ACC. I mean,
ACC will
not much talk with that either.
ACC a lot of mid teams. I don't think there's a lot to talk about as far as teams that are going to make tournament runs. I know we talked about that a lot today. I don't think there's a lot of teams that will.
No, I don't think there will. The only one I really could see is maybe Duke because they're playing ball at the right time, and possibly the U.
Yeah,
I think they could do it as well.
Yeah, but I think outside of those 2 teams, I don't think you really get much.
No, not really.
No, but so we'll talk about the ACC. We'll talk about the Pac-12. We'll fly through those. We'll maybe throw in a smaller conference in there. Maybe we'll talk about the Big East a little bit.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk about the Big East a little bit. I'm trying to think of what else we could throw in. Yeah, SEC we'll talk about as well in there. So that'll be a little bit of a longer video because it'll be
it'll be multiple conferences. Talking about the teams that have already punched their ticket. We got 3 more tickets being punched tonight.
So. Yep. Yeah, we do. And dude, conference tournament season has already been crazy. What was it? First game? I think it was like a week ago already. First game. It was buzzer beater. Yep. Bellarmine over. I don't know who it was over, but Bellarmine over somebody.
North Florida.
Yep. Bangs home a buzzer beater.
I mean, it's crazy too because I saw on Twitter. I think I tweeted it out. There's been 4 number 1 seeds in the mid-major tournaments that have already lost.
That's insane.
And that's a high number already.
Well, you know what we were talking about earlier is the amount of mid-major tournaments that could steal the bids, right?
Yeah.
That's terrible for teams like West Virginia because of those teams, like maybe only one of those 1 seeds is actually going to make it in. Yeah. But
if you're West Virginia and you get like a team like, you never know. If you get a team like UC who's playing really good basketball right now, or a team like Tulane who's also playing really good basketball right now, and they go and win the American, you're getting bumped out, and then now you have to go play in the NIT. And those 4, I didn't know this, but if you're a conference champion in a mid-major and you don't win your conference tournament, you get an automatic bid into the NIT.
Really?
So that's just stealing bids from teams that want to go to the NIT. That's my Bearcats. They're getting bids stolen right now, which is a problem.
Yeah. Well, that just means we got to win the AAC.
Yeah.
Which is
not going to be easy to do considering they'd have to play Houston
second round. Yeah, Houston second round is going to be tough. But we definitely got some more coming. Once the selection Sunday happens, I know we will be on spring break.
We will definitely still be.
So I don't think I'll even be here, but we will do virtual.
We can do a virtual.
We will do virtual some episodes because there's so much to be talked about. Yeah. We have to do that. We'll definitely do a maybe some shorter videos of just you making a bracket, me making a bracket.
Do a little bracket channel.
Yes, and we'll make a little group on the March Madness app as well for all you guys to join. But I will also include Nick's Twitter in the description of this video.
Follow Twitter for sure.
His college basketball Twitter is elite. Like updates all the time regarding a ton of different schools. So if you're looking to really dive into college basketball this tournament season, you'll have to give that a follow because it is and turn notifications on because I followed it maybe a couple weeks ago and turned notifications on. There's so much stuff that it's like, oh my gosh, I didn't even know they were playing right now.
Yeah, I try to tweet everything. There's a lot of people who have the Twitter or whatever. They'll be an analyst, but they're only talking about the Power 5, Power 6.
Yes.
And I'm not saying I'm only like mid-majors. I do everything. I like covering the board for everything. I like tweeting about stuff like that. Yeah. It's just kind of like what I do. I'm a sport junkie. I'm a college basketball junkie. I love it. I'm gonna be honest with you right now. I'll go home tonight and I'll have 3 or 4 TVs set up in my basement. I'll probably watch all these mid-major games and stuff like that. And I'll enjoy the hell out of it. I love doing it.
You're an animal.
I love doing this.
I do think that's probably all we got for today. I do want to close with one thing here. You have one team to bet on to go as the last team surviving in the Big 12. So they don't have to win it all, but the last team surviving in the Big 12 in March Madness. Who are you taking here?
I'm going to take the 4 seed Baylor Bears.
I think they might be the best coached team here.
Yeah, no, I definitely think that they're the best coaches. I think they're the deepest.
Yeah. Yeah, your roster depth. That's what the word I was going to say.
I mean, think about it. Like, for example, this past Saturday when they got blown out by Iowa State. It wasn't close. But they're so deep in the guard play that they had a guy who averaged, his last name's Bonner. He averaged maybe a total of 50-something minutes the whole year. The past 2 games, he's played 51, and he's averaged 18 points.
When you have
that depth, it's so crazy because you could easily take out Flagler because he's not playing well. Put in Bonner, and then he's right back there for you.
Roster depth, coaching, and guard play are 3 of the most important factors in March Madness to succeed. They have an elite coach, elite roster depth, in elite guard play. It just everything points to them to survive for a long time. I think Texas is a good shout as well, but I'm going Baylor as well. I think Baylor, they've been there before. They have guys that have been there before. You have Big John, who's been there before. Flo Thamba's been there before. Adam Flagler. All these guys have won a national championship.
They've all been there. Like they've all experienced it. The only one who hasn't is really Keontae George.
Yeah.
And he was the freshman of the year.
Yeah. So you have guys that, and this is important too, not only have experienced a national championship run, they've experienced a second round exit as a 1 seed.
Yeah.
So
they have that bad taste in their mouth.
Yep,
They're ready to come back.
Look, we're a whatever.
They'll probably be a
3
seed, I would think.
We're a 3 seed. We're playing a 6 seed second round. Yeah, we're playing a 6 seed second round. We can't take this 6 seed lightly because we saw what happened last year when we took an 8 seed lightly.
Exactly.
Like
they got burned by it.
Yeah, they did. So I think I'm going to pick Baylor as well. I'm sure now that we said that, we'll see something crazy. Georgia State will pull up another 14-3 upset.
I
But
actually kind of like their draw.
As
the
of right
tournament was to end today, they would be one of the last 2 seeds.
Okay.
And they play Kennesaw State.
Okay.
This is their first ever tournament. This is the first time they've ever made the NCAA tournament. So that's kind of a thing to look at.
Huge program turnaround there too, by the way.
They had won 1 game 3 years ago.
There's their head coach right now started 1-27 3 years ago in his first season, and now they just won their tournament.
First tournament ever.
Absolutely, that's an awesome story. But who's their 1 seed?
The 1 seed in theirs is UCLA.
Okay,
that would be a really good game.
That'd be a great game.
If they'd win against Kennesaw State, they'd play the winner of A&M and NC State, and I think they can beat both of those teams.
I think I'm comfortably choosing them over both of those teams. So who would be their? Let's see. So there are 2. Who would be their 3 seed? Yeah, who's the 3 seed?
Would be the Zags.
Ooh,
and their 4 would be X.
And
X isn't getting Freemantle back. He's out for the rest of the year.
Okay, so Baylor is.
So they're in a pretty easy region
as of right now. Now, obviously, so much is going to change.
Still have 6 days till we get that bracket at 6 p.m. on Sunday.
And so many of those teams in there are going to change. You know what I mean? I mean, UCLA loses to Arizona in the Pac-12 tournament, and Pac-12 championship. Now Arizona takes that 1 seed. UCLA maybe even goes to a 2, right? So now Baylor gets bumped down if they lose. Yeah, there's so much stuff that's going to happen. But if that were to happen, that region is like shaping up for Baylor to be a Final Four, almost lock. Not lock, but nothing's a lock.
Have one of the better chances.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I'm gonna ride Baylor as well. But I think that's pretty much all we got for today. Wednesday is gonna be a hectic episode, a ton of stuff. So
much is going on.
Yeah,
we get the start of every Power 5 tournament. I believe starts on Wednesday.
Yeah, at least the first
I think at least the first round games.
Yeah, basically play-in games.
Big 12 does. ACC does.
Does Pac-12?
I think the Pac-12 does.
Let me pull it up.
I want to say the Pac-12's final. Isn't the Pac-12's final on a Saturday? I don't think they're a Sunday final, right?
Pac-12 has 4 games on Wednesday.
Okay, yeah. So that's when you start ramping it up. You're getting all the Power 5 conference tournaments. They all start Wednesday, so
SEC does as well. Yeah.
Obviously, get geared up for that because we're getting into the heart of it. Like this is
prime time.
This is the prime time of it. Some people say this is their favorite time of the year, and I couldn't agree more.
Yeah, we need to play the.
This week alone is just fantastic because you're not only are you getting 10, 12 games a day, they're all conference games, which makes it even better because everyone is giving it their hardest no matter what.
Dude, Selection Sunday, I hear that music. Dude,
I love it.
I hear that music and it could be the worst day imaginable, right? And I hear the music and I'm smile immediately across my face. It is spectacular. This is the best time of the year.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, I don't know who sings the most. It's the most wonderful time. But
the one shining moment at the end too. You get that video. I mean, it's just if you don't like college basketball, you either don't like sports or you just don't enjoy fun.
If you don't like March Madness, how could you not want to? I don't know. We're harping to a crowd I don't think exists right now. If you're watching this video, you definitely like March Madness. Yeah. But so Wednesday we got probably a near 2-hour episode coming because it's going to be so much stuff.
So much to talk about.
And we can't shut the hell up anyways. So.
No, we just love talking about it so much. It's hard to even stop talking about it right now.
Yep. So, but we'll have that coming Wednesday and a ton more coming as well once we get the Selection Sunday. And I think that has been all for today. This has been Sports Geeks Podcast. They play, we talk. Thanks for watching, guys.
Catches, puts up a three. Won't go.